Awesome. So we are live. Thank you so much for joining us for this amazing Saturday discussion on the Kenya National AI Strategy, which was formally launched on Thursday this week. And before we get on to that, I want to confirm whether we're having okay. We can get started on just the preliminaries, then we can get to it. So let me share my screen. Okay. Good. Must be able to see that. So we're going to have our national AI strategy discussion today, just for an hour or so to see what is inside that document. I've been seeing it floating around on WhatsApp, everyone appearing as a master in sharing the PDF. But I think the most important thing about the strategy is reading it, digesting it, dissecting it, and even seeing what are the implications for the different kind where you are as a stakeholder. So I should have been here with Rachel, but I think Rachel has been caught in the digital traffic. I'll assume that. So my name is Kevin Tue. As I mentioned earlier, I'm the lead organizer. I'll be hosting this alongside Rachel. She will be joining us along the way. And just a little bit about the AWS IML user group. We are a community of cloud enthusiasts, machine learning practitioners, data scientists, even AI innovators. So we are just on an aim to explore and even discuss the possibilities of having AWS technologies to leverage in the AI ML space to come up with transformative ideas and not just have those ideas, but transform them into impact with the AWS IML solutions. We were launched last month. We are quite young, but right now we boast over 350 people on WhatsApp as well as on Meetup. We're going to be having our very first physical event this coming Friday in partnership with the ALX Kenya at the LX Piano Hub in Westlands. And we already sold out on the event, over 200 RSVPs. But in terms of the membership registrations, we have over 434 members currently and counting. And these members are coming across from other communities. Maybe this is also some of them, this is their first community, but all in all, it's a very welcoming space. So our leadership, I'm the lead organizer, as mentioned. We have Rachel for graphics. We have Sherry from dealing with social media. Also helps a lot in terms of, in case I'm not there, Sherry always comes through. We also have Mishek. He heads our content. We have also Julie, who heads our volunteers and everything around people relations, ourselves. She also keeps us in check. And also we have Daniel, who helps in everything web. So our agenda today is just to discuss the national AI strategy. So I realized that there's also other versions of it, but you're going to see how you're going to work out with it. I saw there's a corrected version, but I don't know what was corrected, but I'm going to see that. So you're going to have the national AI strategy, and then you're going to have a Q&A or a discussion of sorts. So that's basically it in terms of that slide. And I'll now directly go to what I wanted to show you. We're going to have a feedback at the end, so please keep it locked and you're going to have it as very engaging. It's not me taking you through what I thought about it. That is why I decided, okay, you're not going to have an expert of sorts as someone who was part of preparing that strategy to come and talk to us about it. No, it is us, by us and for us. So let's get into something else that I wanted to share with you. So this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do it live and see what you're going to get out of this. So I'm just sharing my whole screen on that side. I'm going to upload the strategy to Notebook LM. So let's see what it's going to give us. I just saw this morning there's a corrected version. Let me see if I'll just use that one and not use the one that I've been reading. I saw some issues with the one that I was reading, but we are not here to just bring out the issues, but also look at the opportunities, right? So we're not here to just bash something, but we're also here to also look at in a very objective manner, not biased way. So you can see I've just uploaded the strategy on Notebook LM just to see, because it's definitely a public thing. So we can use it, and let's see how Notebook LM will help us for that. For now, that is just important to just see how it's going to help us, because it's one of the few. Again, you can also use any other. You can use Perplexity or Gemini or what DeepSeek, just to mention the ask it some questions. I love Notebook LM because I just upload it, then I'll now focus on coming up with it something. So you can see I think it's already done. Maybe reading it, it's looking it, there it is. So what I want to do to it, now that I do have it, let me just close that. I minimize that. I'm going to request for a briefing document just for it. I don't want to generate a deep dive conversation, not for now. Our conversation is that. So as that comes up, I want us to look at some of the things around this strategy. And even as we come up with it, it's very important to look at the strategy itself. So as that, but again, I think I can generate the audio so that we'll get it by the end of the session. But let's continue with that. Let me open the strategy itself and bring it to that side so that we start our discussion. So here it is. Okay. So here is the most famous document this week. Nope. The Kenya National AI Strategy, right? So let me see if I can bring up my pen so that I highlight some areas that I saw were interesting, if I can say. So the first thing that always have come to play when we see about AI, any AI document, obviously this is now the first AI specific kind of documentation coming out of the Kenya government. There have been other documents. We've been having the blockchain, I think the blockchain something, distributed ledger kind of a report. We've been having the National AI Task Force. I saw there's something that was mentioned in the strategy about other supporting legal frameworks such as the Data Protection Act, the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act. I didn't even know that the Kenya Bureau of Standards also had already come up with a document on AI and regarding things around AI products. But we're going to get to see something about this. So let's get to it. So I don't have to take you through the table of contents. I don't think. Okay, there are some interesting things. I think GPT is the abbreviation. I don't know what but I think it's genetic retained transformers. I had someone earlier this week say GPT stands for General Purpose Technology, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, so that is it regarding I don't have to take you through that. Does it make sense? As I looked at the summary, as I looked at the summary, I just looked at some of the things that was coming here. Is the essence of this is to envision the country as a leading AI hub for model innovation, driving sustainable development, economic growth, social inclusion, while positioning itself as an AI research and application leader on the continent. Pretty interesting. And I can say that's a very bold idea. Just highlight that because we're going to come back to it maybe. So let me just, I don't know why it has highlighted it that way, but it's okay. So that is basically the reason why we have this document, right? And you can see I've been told that they call the strategy, the aspiration to adopt AI technologies, including AI model innovation, kept coming up every time, R&D, research and development, and commercialization, what, and all that. But the meat of the matter is somewhere in the middle. And it was pretty interesting to know that there's even something that you're going to see. I didn't even know there's a directory of communities, including tech communities in Kenya. But when I checked on the account, I think we've even grown faster than it, but it's okay. We're going to see that. So I'm not going to take you through the word, the multitude, and the cloud of text. That is not what we want. But there's something very important about the pillars. The pillars, so you can see this is what I saw in the first pillar is AI digital infrastructure, which underscores the need for accessible and affordable AI infrastructure and a modernized national digital infrastructure for AI access development. I don't know whether you guys saw it, but just do this. Now one. I didn't want to do it beforehand so that you can be able to get a grip of this. I can just do that. Okay. There's this amazing thing that happened, and I don't know that you saw it. Let me see if I can open it. I even shared with a colleague of mine who we worked together on some things. I don't know whether it's happened this week or last week, but Thrive Masiiwa, I think he's a Zimbabwean billionaire who said they went to, NVIDIA GTC happened earlier this month. Yes, earlier this month. I can say the reinvent for NVIDIA and Strive and his team. I read that article that they had on LinkedIn on how they are intending to build an AI factory, And it got me thinking and asked myself, let me see, does Zimbabwe have an AI strategy? AI strategy. I don't know whether it's going to be in Zimbabwe. I'm not seeing something in its case, but definitely. So I was thinking these pillars, something similar to what now is being done. There's a difference. There's this quote that says strategy eats culture eats strategy for breakfast. So if you're having a culture where people are just good at coming up with some very amazing kind of documentation, whether funded or not or something, amazing stuff. But I remember there's this story that Singapore, is it Singapore or Malaysia? I don't know which of the two. They earlier on, they didn't have a structure on how they're doing things. They just borrowed the Kenya blueprint on how Kenya wanted to do things back, I think, in the 1960s or 70s, and then they just implemented that. So for us, we had a very good documentation, but for us, we didn't do well in terms of implementing that. So what comes into play is sorry, yeah, so sorry about that. So as I was saying, is as I was saying, is are we in a place where we're coming up with amazing blueprints and not implementing them? That's good. That's something we need to look at as a country, even in the communities, because I usually see tech communities at the heart of culture, at the heart of things that are being done. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we need to look at. So that was the first pillar. The second pillar is data. I kind of felt like data should be the first thing, but it's okay because we have the data. We really don't need to think about it, but I don't think it's like sequential that you have to build the infrastructure, then you have to the data, but these are the pillars. So the second pillar was all about data and how we can be able to have some data around things structured way, because without enough data, you cannot train a model. And if it's not structured in a way that it can be used, can be a data set, then it can be an issue. So that was the second pillar. I just put it as, because this is the first place it appears, but it appears many times in the document. So let me just post that. Then the third pillar was AI R&D, I mean, R research and innovation, and making Kenya, which is a very bold dream, a global leader in AI model development. I don't know about that because model development has been done quite a lot, right? You already know that, for example, like DeepSeek, Manas, and many other different models that are coming out into play. So the question should we maybe be doing a whole new model, or should we leverage foundational models and build on them so that we can go faster? Or should we come down and say, hey, we need to maybe come up with more efficient model, the way DeepSeek disrupted the whole thing around it has to take billions of dollars of investment when it comes to model training, validation, and deployment and such of that sort. So I'll just leave it at that, R&D, innovation, and this is where maybe a lot of things of our interest come into play as AWS IML, as well as also in anyone who is in the ed tech or research or education, capacity building. R&D is a big thing. There's also another pillar, if I'm not wrong. Okay, this is the third one. Let's see if there's another one. Okay, those are the pillars. I don't think phased approach, what. Okay, phased approach to ensure effective implementation. I talked about that. So it says it's going to be in phases. I looked at also the implementation matrix and seeing what are the things that need to be done. And you're going to see what you're going to have a discussion on. I'm just taking you through so that we can start to have the discussion very fast in the next 5 or so minutes. Okay, I don't think I have to look at the forward. If you want, you can read it from the cabinet secretary. Acknowledgements, I think this must be because I think there are international partners. There's, I think, GIZ, there's the German Ministry, the digital, I think the German Ministry, Federal Ministry for Economic Development, Canada, IDRC, UK. These must be people who came through maybe for some funding to support the whole process of coming up with this strategy, which is a good thing. We also had the National AI Working Group and Steering Committee. I believe this is the one that also played a huge part. There were some FGDs, that is focus group discussions. Yeah, I think those are the people who are part of it. Yeah, who are part of the whole thing. Yep. So yeah. So let's go to the matter of it. Going downwards to it, I don't think, let's see a very interesting thing because it's very important. AI is always thrown about, but we need to know what was AI according to this document, so that even as you throw this word around, we know what was being meant. So let me just read this verbatim so that we can get to see whether it makes sense. A collection of emerging technologies that leverage machine learning, data processing, and algorithmic systems to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. AI encompasses a range of capabilities, including automated decision-making, language processing, and computer vision. In the Kenyan context, AI is a powerful tool for sustainable development designed to assist and simplify human tasks, solve critical challenges, and drive sustainable growth. I'll highlight that and ask us. We'll need to ask ourselves. Maybe does that encompass what? I still feel it. Okay, maybe it's because I have the technical acumen around it. I don't know that AI is all about the three that I've seen there. Okay. I think I'm just seeing machine learning and data processing and algorithmic systems. I don't know whether things around agents, around, other emerging technologies, but it's okay. So we have the governance part, a framework of policies. I think it's just governance with the word AI in it. So I don't think I have to go deep into that. Data privacy. Yeah, in the context of AI system, it encompasses principles to protect individual privacy, to prevent unauthorized access by algorithms, to maintain data confidentiality. Okay, let's highlight that. we'll look at it later on. Okay, edge computing. I don't know how edge computing made the place, but it's okay. Of all other computing, I was asking myself, okay, why did edge computing make its way and also not cloud computing? But maybe it's because I'm in that space, but it's okay. Distributed computing closer to the location, what. I believe edge computing is still a subset within cloud. It's okay. Emerging technologies, novel advancements in that have potential to reshape industries, economies, generative AI models that capable, okay, at least you're having Gen AI here, text, what, large language models, advanced AI models, vast, what, machine learning, neural networks, RAG, small language models. Okay, maybe they were used somewhere, but let's leave it there. Okay, I don't have to go through the background of who we are and all these things that are usually said by our government, amazing government. I think I need to just go to the things that make sense. So what are our key AI concerns as Kenya? I'm just taking you through so that some of you, for those who are, some of you come in and have not read this document. So that's what I'm doing. So labor disruptions is great opportunity to leverage because there's an AI job market. Many fear that AI-driven automation might lead to job losses. We definitely usually see that a lot. AI will replace this and that in particularly sectors where many Kenyans are employed. But I don't know, can AI-driven automation, okay. That means that maybe lesser people will work in the manufacturing sector as maybe robotics and other aspects come into play in manufacturing. When it comes to agriculture, definitely things around yield and how you can also leverage systems, sensors, IoT, blah, blah, blah. Okay, makes sense. Labor. So keep that in mind. Things around labor and what it needs. Maybe there's an antidote to that. Then digital divide. We are having a discussion this week with someone. Yes, you are big on this, and you're saying, okay, there's some inequalities that can come into play when it comes to leveraging AI. Because I was asking myself, can we have an AI on USSD? We've been always saying USSD is the one that will help in people with not having smartphones and all these different kind of things. But what comes to a system, can it be backed? Then it can be accessed. Maybe you can get information, or could it be what in form of what? How can you be able to be inclusive when it comes to these marginalized communities as well as rural areas? So those are inequalities. And can inequalities be, or can we ever do away with them, or we'll just have to live with them? Some thoughts for that. I always get jitters when I hear things around data sovereignty, because I always ask someone, okay, you're saying you're not going to share your details. Your details are going to be stored in a cloud server by Amazon in the US. Then I ask them, okay, you're on LinkedIn, yes? You're on Facebook, you're on what? You're on Twitter, you're on TikTok. Obviously, you had to put in some data there that has been processed. Do you require them to LinkedIn to say, you have to prove to me that you are going to store your data in a data center in Thika for me to be on LinkedIn? So why should we have two-thing policies when it comes to data? I think data, for me, my case, and I'll still open it up for discussion. Data is best stored where it is most safe. That is what I usually say. So if you're telling me you are requiring me to store a data in my computer because it is local, but my computer is never updated. I connect to the network, and since I'm using maybe some bundles, I don't even update my Windows, I don't update my antivirus. Then what is the essence of data sovereignty or data being stored locally if it is not safe? If it can be accessed by unauthorized people, or it can be misused or something of that sort. But yeah, so you're going to see these things. So why should you fear a big tech? You already know who owns LinkedIn, right? It's Microsoft, right? And yes, they can say we are having this, but we are going to build this and bring this to closer to you. But then again, we see different issues around data. Ethics, AI ethics comes into play. Usually say the issues, we just put this as a buzzword, AI ethics and such. But as long as you stigmatize the use of AI in different contexts, like you say, you've used AI, you should not have used AI, or should have not do what, then definitely you're going to take several steps backwards when it comes to AI ethics. I'd be happy to say, hey, I used AI to generate maybe the slides that I showed you earlier. But if I know all of you are going to be like, why? Why did you use that? You should have used your own things. I'll definitely not be more transparent about it. Yeah, so even that comes into play. But what I said earlier or in a discussion that I had with some people earlier this week is the thing about AI, and I saw that in another part of this document, and it didn't bother well with me, is that any kind of AI system can perpetuate if it can 1,000 times, it's 1,000x, all right? It can x 1,000 times your capabilities, or it can x 1,000 times your stupidity, if I can say. If you decide to put something and doesn't have security features, so I'm going to say, hey, you guys, you're creating an application that doesn't have security features or things around that. But it's okay. I already know regulations will always play second fiddle. They'll always be playing catch up with innovation. And right now, considering now this Kenya before this didn't have any sort of AI regulation, but AI has been used, they've been startups. I know today there are like a couple of like every weekend, every day, there's a couple of AI related events. Global AI Bootcamp here, what AI Ignite Innovation or something of those sorts. Every time you hear that, even summits, conferences, well-funded ones, right? You go there, you have some small discussion, have some coffee, 5-star coffee and breakfast or lunch. Then after that, then what? We have to ask ourselves, those are the things. Should we require that once you get funding, it has to make sense in terms of local innovation and all these kind of different kind of things when it comes to AI? So we want to be not just consumers but producers. But for you to be a producer, it means that you have to have the raw materials. Do we have the raw materials? Then public sector efficiency, there's that issue around in the public sector. Do we have even the data digitalization, digital transformation in state and public sector departments? How far are we with data sharing and all those different kind of things? We keep on saying about how a big tech, like let's say AWS, will come set up shop in Kenya and hire Kenyans. But what about in our government? There are obviously opportunities to hire youthful generation and be able to just revamp the whole thing so that you don't have to be in heaps of files and put things in a server or in a data center, if there's a local data center or whichever kind of way, those kind of things. These things around sustainable AI, what is the impact of using AI on climate and such? It was very interesting when I heard there's a certain student in a certain university in the UK who say they were given an assignment, then they were told to use AI, and they said they're not going to use AI. And then when they asked why, they said they are very keen on the sustainable impact and the impact on sustainability on climate and such on using AI to do the assignment. And it was quite a robust argument, right? Why should you tell me to use something and I can see its negative effect? It's like telling a vegetarian to take meat because that's the best way they can get full or something of that sort. They'll say, I would rather stay hungry for now because I'm looking at the long-term impacts. And those are some of the things that are there. How do we drive adoption while still ensuring sustainability? Yeah, these things I think have already been mentioned. It's just a repetition from the concerns: economic growth, efficiency in the public sector, competitiveness in the international. Job creation is very key. And I was very interested in this aspect around skills development and things around developing AI-specific curricula and training programs for people to thrive, and skills gaps, some things that are also part of our mandate, because we cannot transform ideas into impact using AI if you don't have the capacity. Okay, I think the methodology, this is how they did. You can take time and read it, how they did the environmental analysis, how they did benchmarking. Those are documents review, benchmarking, some online survey, key informant interview, FGDs, town hall talks in county innovation hubs. I kind of didn't get the memo on those ones, stakeholder presentations, as well as strategy development with the working groups. That is how it was done. I'll go down to, okay, these are just definitions. These are textbook things. Why AI? Don't have to talk about these. For all these analysis, there's an amazing document, I think, and an amazing summary table in page, I think it was page 30. Page, not page 30. What did I see in page 30? There's something I saw in page 30 that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so you can see the AI application types include data analytics, chatbot, what. There's something that I saw in page 30 that I wanted to share about. So these are some of the things. There was something that I saw and it was very interesting, but I think I'm going to go back to it when we start the discussion. Let me just scroll down to national context. Was it chapter 31 in finance? So there's many different things. These are just stories that are very important, but you don't have to, there's nothing important as such from there. Technological context was pretty interesting. Look at it. But yeah, this was the part I wanted to share with you. I don't know whether you know about this part. This is like this. Let me just read this part, just this part. So saying technology and developer communities have played a crucial role in software development, and particularly in machine learning and data science, which are the key areas that contribute to AI development. The developer communities use different online and physical forums to hold educational workshops, share experiences, and learn about various technologies. A number of tech communities have been set up locally in Kenya, and most are still active. Some are listed at so it's being streamed, so you don't need to record this. So most are still live on and listed at devs.info.ke. I didn't know whether you know about this platform. We just copy and open it up so that you see it. Some different communities, but I don't know what the procedure is to get it. Maybe you have to set up yourself. Like it says, I think it must be from the government. I don't know who is running it. So it has some different communities: GDG, Microsoft Learn, Android 254, Nairobi JavaScript, Google Developer, Nairobi Gophers, Nairobi GNU Linux. I don't know about this community, but okay. There's some different things around here. Nairobi JVM, AI Kenya, Nairobi Atlassian community. Facebook developer circles. I don't know whether they still do exist. They were very famous back then when I was starting out. Laravel. Yeah, some different communities here. But I don't know. Most of them are from, I think they're just being sorted out from just in Nairobi. WordPress as Azure community in Kenya. Then I don't think Azure community. MongoDB, Nairobi, React. Did I see something like what did I see? Labster, I don't know that. IPFS, but definitely this is not representative of all the communities that are there. So saying 30 plus dev communities, 15 plus organizations. Let me see. I don't know if I can see. I'm seeing jobs. I don't know things about jobs. So let's see whether I'm looking at this. So there's a job description here. I don't know, how does it work? Do we still need to do things around like setting up a job board for another job or something of that sort? I remember that was pretty famous back then. I don't know whether this still is a job. Let me just see if I can go to it and see what is here. Does it really make sense? Okay, it expired 2 days ago. Okay. So the thing about coming up with a job board for job boards is that you have to keep up with when they expire, okay, and delete them and release them. I don't know, but okay, it seems like it's starting up. I also checked it on LinkedIn. I think around 13 followers or something. Maybe it's starting out. Okay, I don't know what was the intention around that, but yeah. So, but they're not representative. Leading Kenyan universities and tertiary universities offer courses in AI. I kind of checked. I wanted to check out for one if there's a university, like let's say already know like you're an AI course. Let me just see if there's a course. Okay. So I think there's just a free introduction course. So this is what I saw for like just an example. Let me just put UN on the spot. So I just Googled UN AI course. So I just it will say UN was to establish AI school to offer the first AI master's degree. AI master's degree, and I don't see much in this. The only thing I see is this introduction course. What it is, University of Nairobi, University of Helsinki, Reactor. When was this? I don't know when was this posted. I don't know. How do I fill in the details here and inform the organizing team? I don't know about this, but I think there's more open source ways of accessing. If you want to get to know about the introduction to artificial intelligence, I don't think you'll have to go through all that. I don't want to feel all these, then I don't think these must be very specific to the organization. Yeah, so that is one. We just search for another university. I think this one is just free courses. So technically, fully fledged AI courses, not yet as much as like freely available. I think other organizations such as IBM, and which is the other ones? Cisco, NetAcad, and many others have found ways of providing, and even Microsoft. Microsoft has done it. Also, AWS has done it, definitely. Bringing better ways. So I don't know what about these, but yeah. Research, other than academic, I've been active in AI research. Those are some of the things. Political environment. So there's this summary document. I mean, there's a summary table. I don't want to go through all that in detail, but there's a summary table. So there's also something very interesting about this part, about AI strategies. Definitely, this was a part, a quick survey. Kenya didn't have one. So you can see these things around. The development and use of AI are a priority according to the national development plans of 21 out of 32 of those 32 countries. So there are 32 countries that have ongoing national initiatives on to get the development of AI. 18 out of 32, 18 out of 32 African countries. And the development and use of AI, use of AI are a priority according to the national development plans of 21 of those 32 countries. 13 countries have launched AI strategies. 13 have developed AI policies. Remember, we don't have an AI policy yet. This is just a strategy. Then we're going to have a policy. Then 12 have established AI centers of excellence, and 3 have reported issuing ethical guidelines for use of AI. And these are the countries. I think Kenya may be coming later, but I can see Zimbabwe, which is here, where Strive comes from. So it was pretty interesting to see that. I didn't like the fact that but in a very objective way, that there were some AI generated pictures, but you're not being told where they were generated from, some context around it. Maybe it's just to break the text. But I believe in essence of being transparent, you have to tell us what was the prompt, or maybe where did you generate this AI picture? And there are many of them across the document. Okay. Kenya AI Readiness Assessment. So the readiness, I'll focus on things that relate to us. So social and cultural, you can check on the other parts of legal. I'll not look at that. So you're being told that the availability of AI-related educational programs is limited, necessitating expansion to meet job. Curricula should be developed to align with industry needs. That is the truth, that there's very little in terms of, and I'm talking about AI that gets you a job. I'm not talking about AI program that just gives you an idea of this and that and that. And there's a good number of AI startups. Many of them are even pitching today for some prize money or sorts. So they're there. Economic, there's some AI skills. So you can see there's a critical gap in the labor market. There is also an opportunity for us also as a community. How can we be able to get our members getting opportunities in the AI ML space? So technological, I think these are the things, but remember 5G access is very limited in Kenya at 0.6. Only 2% of the population are not covered with mobile network technology. Those are the things. This was a summary document I was telling you about. And it was very interesting to read about this index. So Kenya lacks sufficient data to train AI models, scoring low on the global index. Something very important to note. We are scoring 44% on data availability and 63.67 on data representativeness. So those are the scores. So that means that it goes around with data. So if you're thinking about a career in Kenya and taking advantage, think about the aspect around data. Don't focus so much about the AI engineering, the model, because the biggest problem most of the time is data collection. And you can get some very good funding if you come up with a startup or maybe some initiative to increase in terms of availability of data sets to train the models. Infrastructure, I'm not going to talk much about it because as a community, we are not really of much influence on infrastructure that is data centers or such. But the beauty is for us, having been aligned to AWS, and we can get opportunities for cloud credits and all these, we still can find ways of leveraging infrastructure that is there. Talent was a big thing. Talent was a big thing for me. So Kenya is experiencing a significant gap between the high demand for AI skills and limited number of qualified professionals due to low STEM enrollment. So that means that for us as a community, how can we foster more STEM enrollment? I believe I was told yesterday the KUSIPS, the Kenya University and Colleges Central Placement Service, opened the portal for for candidates who pass their form to register for courses. I really wish they could be publishing the data for like a very good data set that shows what are the selection trends. Sometimes people select, then they miss courses, then they do a revision, then they get now another course, maybe at another university, or do they get the same courses? If you can get that data and maybe put it out and train it out on a model of sorts, you can be able to analyze the trends and see how can we be able to increase STEM enrollment, because this data is there, and we no longer do manual selection of courses to universities. But I know anytime I look at it, because I also have some insights, there's still some influence of parents, right, on what their children decide to do. And most of the time there's this notion about do education so that you become a teacher, you're not going to miss a job, or do this particular course and that course. But very few really, and usually this notion that STEM, or anything around STEM, it's quite discriminative. You have to have gotten a very high grade for you to get an opportunity on it. And that notion and that perception leads to a very low enrollment in STEM, and more so even when it comes to women. And it was a very interesting statistic. Only 25% of university graduates complete a STEM course. So does that mean that, is it an issue around how people are trained in high schools? Or why should I select maybe Bachelor of Telecommunications and Telecoms and Telecommunications Engineering and not be able to finish? Is it a matter of I didn't have an idea of what it takes to finish that course, or even if it's computer science or any other STEM course? What's the issue around that? Then AI, can see something coming to chat. Yeah, they're popular. They're popular, but people don't take them up more. They're popular, and you're going to have a discussion. I'm about to open it up for discussion. I'm seeing that time is really flying, but you can see these statistics. It was very interesting to see these statistics because these are backed. These statistics are backed with some good research. These strategies, it's not that like someone sat in their room and created it. There's a lot of consultation and participation, and even uh, money spent on this. So R and I really didn't it didn't bother well on me to say that, okay, we want our universities to be the center. That is ideal. The universities should be the centers and the hubs for research on AI and bring out amazing stuff that can be implemented in the industry. That is how it happens in the developed countries. But you already know that most universities lack capacity, have issues, they are bogged down with teaching people rather than doing research. The lecturers are having a lot of workload when it comes to teaching, marking, manual marking of booklets, and all these different kind of things. And most of them are just doing the bare minimum to publish enough to get promotions or get these. But actionable research that can be patented, that can be commercialized, which takes a lot of work, is being done maybe even in the non-commercial, in the commercial and the research hubs maybe from that are set up by the different big techs and such. So how can we be able to change the narrative when it comes to that? Still, the strategy points the ideal, which is very important, that universities should be where research is taking place and amazing innovations are coming out of. But yeah, so we still bordered high on the 48.8, the numbers that you can see. Emphasis on key readiness aspects, governance, ethical, AI practitioners guide, developed by multi-stakeholder AI practitioners group. Kenya still lacks AI-specific regulations. There's also something else. We need to look at it. And the best way to do it, I loved how I've seen what other countries do, is they see how even big tech self-regulate and they adopt that and make them maybe national or such. So even as we come up, even as a community, how can we be able to influence the regulations? Because if you don't set up regulations by yourself, someone else who doesn't sit at the table will set up some regulations, then there'll be backlash. Think about the IT practitioners, the ICT practitioners bill, and the shenanigans around that. So I'll just jump these are the key data. I think there's a summary document down here. Yes, there's a summary thing here. There's stakeholder mapping summary. I really didn't see this as fully representative of the stakeholders mapping, but they say these were the influence over the strategy document. That was the key thing around these numbers. So they say developers have a high interest, they have a high influence, and they must be involved. Yes, but I don't know that developers come only from these pieces, but it's okay. Those are the actors, but yeah, okay. Private sector government, these are the purchasers. They have a high influence low, but they should be involved periodically. Okay, periodically, I don't know. Kenya ICT Action, these are communities. I was wondering whether these are tech communities or communities, just communities, but I could see East African community. East African community is something else. It's not like a tech community. East African Legislative, African Union, the things are legal kind of setups, and Yeah, so Kenya ICT Action Network. Don't know about them, but yeah. So their interests, I don't know why the regulatory, I mean, the communities were considered to have a low interest on the document. I don't have a low interest and a high influence and need to be keep informed. But yeah, regulatory agencies, you already know them. They're there, including KIPI and all these different kind of regulatory agencies, low interest, high keep informed. What? Then the academia. I was wondering why the listing of only these universities, no issues are against them, then say other universities. I think just as I said, the universities in Kenya. I don't know that this is the only African Center for the Technology Studies, but yeah, maybe the people who are coming up with it wanted to have the academia working group of people who are there and they are representing the universities. They wanted to see the universities on the document. But yeah, I believe academia means a lot than just the universities. I was also wondering where do the TVETs sit? Where do the different colleges that are there sit? But yeah, so we have the Microsoft Africa Research Institute, Moringa, AI Kenya, we know why it was their local development research institute. So it might be those are the stakeholders who are involved in the document, in the strategy document. But then again, see, they will be the researchers. Development partners, you already know why these are also here, government, and yeah, they're such high, and must be involved. Infrastructure providers, I was wondering why it was said that infrastructure providers have a low influence, because they must be having a better influence on the document because they can be able to say, how can we implement? Because if you're talking about a pillar, the very first pillar on AI infrastructure being very key, then they need to be quite involved in such. But these ones are media. Okay, I don't know why media they're very low and informed periodically, but I thought media plays a huge part in terms of putting the word out there and sharing all these things. Maybe I don't know, but it's okay. Maybe there was a thing. I felt like this is why I say that I thought there's an issue. For example, it was I was seeing, let me just show you this. They're saying that the stakeholders included AI developers, communities, regulatory uh, agencies, researchers, and investors. I kind of missed the regulatory agencies in this table. I don't know where they went, unless I kind of not see it, but I saw a repetition here. I don't know whether you can be both what? High interest, low influence, and also be high high influence and low interest. But anyway, maybe it's just a way of the document, the one coming up with that document. I mean that part of the table, the matrix. And if there's something an issue, there must be an issue here. So let me just highlight that because that is what I saw as I was reading the document. I mean that part, but I'm not here to do some typos and all those things. I was just here to look at. This was just summary of the strengths limitations. I've already discussed these in length. Please, if you don't want to read so many parts of the document, go read this part 3.8. It just summarizes everything in that chapter. Very, very good part to look at everything that was discussed. Skills gap, I've already tackled all these. This was a summary for job creation, enhance public AI-specific education programs, public-private partnerships, investments in local AI innovations, leadership in AI development, responsible AI, data governance. These are we already looked at all these. So I think those are it. Now, that was all the preliminary. So the AI strategy technically starts at this part. If you're looking at it, the strategy starts at this page 61 of sorts. So these are the value, the guiding principles. It felt like some things were there, but these were the themes. we've already said about them. I want to open it up, talent development, governance, investments. Yeah, so these were the things we already talked about them, so I don't want to reiterate them. I don't know that I can turn this in, but I was reading it using my phone so that I don't have to turn my head this way. I really wish the person coming up with the document could have just, yes, it is landscape, but just don't put it this way. Maybe it was for printing. Maybe I'll use an editor tool and turn it on. But these were the implementation. How is it going to be done? Let me see if can I edit. I don't think I can do it in terms of my premium. Can see. If I say edit this PDF, it will require me to come up with something. But yeah, so let me just get these. This is what. Yeah, on that one. So let me go back to Notebook LM. Let's see what came up here. So this is the briefing document, the pillars that were here, the enablers, what, high priority use cases, blah, blah, blah. So let me just ask it on this regarding that one, that one. Share the actionable initiatives by the from the document. Let's see what it's going to show us so that I don't have to turn my head. It's Peter, you can find it under meeting info on Zoom. I added it under the meeting info. So if you can see the meeting info feature, if you're using your, I don't know if it appears also, but I'll also share, no worries. But when I share it, don't know that there's something corrected or something, but I can also add it here. You can add it here. So okay. So let me see if I can get it here. That two version. I saw corrected. I don't know what was corrected on it. So just give you that. Signed it up. Yeah, it is. So you'll get it on the chat. Hopefully you have joined using your laptop. So let's see what is here. Let me just zoom in on this thing. Let me just minimize that. Close that briefing document. Close that part. So at least here is the doc. Here is what was in that section. Objective 1.1, implement a national broadband in expansion program, I believe, establish regional and national AI and high performance computing data centers and green data centers, upgrade existing data centers to tier 3 and tier 4 standards, establish cloud computing infrastructure and services, potentially through public-private partnerships, promote domestic manufacturing and assembly. This was very interesting. I almost kind of laughed when I looked at it. Like, do we really have a capacity to come up with GPUs, AI chips, and such? I know we've struggled on other things like coming up with what? Locally manufactured smartphones, laptops, and other stuff. I don't know that it ever kicked up to the highest level. But if you're talking about AI specific hardware, that is next gen level. I believe you should have some good traction and grounding when it comes to smartphones and low end silicon chips before you talk about these things. But okay, it's being bold. Okay. Then incentivize. I saw these incentivize a lot. And I was talked, what are these incentives? Is it a monetary incentive? What is the incentive about? But I saw it a lot. Incentivize local technology assembly. Is it like reducing taxes? That is also another issue, right? But now with international hardware manufacturers for technology transfer and joint ventures. Okay, this makes sense. But talking about coming up, okay, you conduct a feasibility study, but you already know what is going to happen. Okay, facilitate the development of robust connectivity, fiber optic, 5G. Okay, this is another one, right? Multi-stakeholder task force within the proposed, this is very important objective, establish a robust national cybersecurity infrastructure, because and that also shows you something, shows you that cybersecurity is not going anywhere. So you better also look at that as an area. So National Cyber NOC, National Cybersecurity Operations Center framework to respond to AI-specific emerging threats. So you can become a SOC analyst for AI-specific emerging threats, something of that sort. So those kind of things, just to mention. Okay, implement advanced AI-specific threat detection and response systems across critical sectors. This is also an opportunity for anyone thinking about coming up with an idea. So if you're coming here in the community and you want support on such, this is amazing. This is an amazing area. Forge partnerships and collaborations, create partnerships with other countries and global tech companies for knowledge transfer and development of digital infrastructure. Basically what you're also doing. Data, these are the pillar on AI infrastructure. The pillar on data, national data policy, clear guidelines on data collection, storage, processing, develop and implement secure data sharing, some things around that. Design and implement national data quality standards. Then that was all about data. I felt like data should have come first, but it's okay. Yeah, I said it's not sequential. AI R&D, so someone can focus on this area. Think about data and how can we support, even as a community and as other communities that we are in collaborative. When I say community, I'm not just saying about AWS AI/ML Kenya, but I'm also talking about all the different tech communities. I felt there's usually some fragmentations in the space, but hopefully we're going to be more collaborative. Enhance the accessibility and of quality AI training data sets. There's a very good question that came up in the AI Summit, AI Breakfast Summit that was organized by AI Kenya when I attended it last in January. I think the first edition happened in January, at the near end of January. And the question that came, a certain startup came, said it was a startup that was talking about agriculture and having an AI startup on soil health and how they can use AI to improve soil health, thus increasing crop yields. And what came up out of the question that was asked was this: you say you've been working hard to come up with the data because there's a need. The first issue that you encountered when you're doing your initiative was accessibility to soil data or soil health data in the country. So they were saying that they now have some good chunk of data they can use for their models, and it's quite robust and data cleaning and all those different kind of things. So they were asked, would you be willing to give out that data for free and make people, other startups and other people looking at things in the agricultural sector have easily access that data? It was a good elephant in the room because as much as they say they would do it, but somebody also asked, we think that collecting that data costed you a lot of money, costed you manpower and all these different kind of things. What would be the incentive of giving it out for free? Think about that. So create local data labs with clean, validated, integrated data sets for access by researchers and AI model developers. Okay, data is very important. Then AI R&D, enhance and expand AI research capabilities at universities, TVETs. At least I saw TVETs, I was happy here. Research centers and innovation hubs. But I was wondering why TVETs was not considered a stakeholder in the stakeholder mapping. Nurture R&D, encouraging government agencies to collaborate. Again, I said I'll still repeat, culture eats strategy for breakfast. I don't know how much of government agencies can do that. It always has to start with a cultural paradigm shift so that we can get this. We have tried it on many other different things, but the word AI is not going to magically change culture. Establish dedicated AI research centers with adequate funding and resources. That is also another opportunity. If you can come up with concept notes, and proposals for an AI research center, you can get some good money out of that. Promote interdisciplinary research in AI involving experts in diverse fields. So if you can have some interdisciplinary research, some solution that cuts across different disciplines, that would be amazing. AI innovation, same things that are there. I don't want to break them down. There's quite a lot. Let me jump to talent development that I said I was also very interested about. AI awareness and foundational skills for schools, curricula, a training program, AI trainers, TOT programs across the country, specialized AI skills in tertiary institutions and industry, because at the university level, you should not be talking about introduction to AI, surely. That should not be happening. Or in a TVET level, should be talking about specialized AI training and industry-led AI training programs. For example, I saw there's a robust Intel AI program that if you implemented well, it can be. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. These training programs are there. We just need to contextualize them. Create partnerships, enhance the PDTP and public sector internship program to allow for specialization in AI. So if you're a student in campus and think about that, think about, can you be able to come up with an idea and support PDTP? If you've done PDTP before, how can you enrich it? This is an opportunity. Mentorship, a mentorship program. That's something very important. As a community, you might think, okay, we might need to come up with some mentorship apprenticeship. It might be the connection between industry on this side and AI enthusiasts on the other side, and come up with a good platform for AI mentorship. Partner with existing innovation hubs that are there regionally and globally to enhance access to AI training. So it means that you have to now start aligning with innovation hubs because they might be having good funding for anything related to AI and ed tech. Facilitate acquisition of quality foreign AI talent. Okay. Foreign AI talent to bridge immediate skills gaps. So that means that if there's someone coming out, also something very important to be strategic is you can be able to get an opportunity, get some foreign summer school program, come back, you still consider in some way that way. So governance, establish an agile what was this? Establish an agile governance and adaptable legal framework, agile AI. But we already know agile cannot cut it. Just saying agile, you have to make sure regulatory frameworks kind of play second fiddle. Innovation moves a bit faster. But then again, if you are someone who is into the legal space, or you are working towards law, or you have a degree in law, or you're practicing law, this is also a good opportunity. Can you focus on AI legal and regulations? Can you also help accelerate it? Public-private partnerships, investments, that is also ethics, equity. There's also some things. Think of these as opportunities for each and every. When you see these statements, how can you be able to tap into them? And this final one, enhance public AI literacy, launch a public awareness on AI rights, disinformation, and communities can do a very good thing at that. We saw, I think, Mozilla had an amazing responsible AI kind of initiative last year. So how can you do that? Educate government employees on ethical, equitable, and inclusive AI. So that is pretty much, I love how Notebook LM has broken it down. And now I can open it up for you guys. I've talked and talked and talked. I think that was just for us to get an idea. But you can see it's a comprehensive document. You cannot just, you can see even, I can have some questions, summarize the 3 key pillars underpinning Kenya's AI strategy. You can just ask it and it's going to tell us these are the 3: AI digital infrastructure, data, AI R&D. Those are the three ones. So the rationale is there, primary methodologies that were employed. You can ask it once you have it. Yeah, and you can even save it or not. I created a podcast. I think I can share with you these guys, these thing. I don't know whether you're going to get access or I've shared my email. I don't know whether you're going to get, I don't know whether YouTube is going to flag that. See if I can open it up. Yeah, let me just shorten that URL. Then you can wrap it up as you almost wrap it up. So let me just copy that. Let me see if I can get you guys that. We can take that. So for that, you can also come up with your own, but I don't think you need to reinvent or something. Okay. I think we are done, and I can now open it up for you guys. I'd like to get to know from each and every one of you. What do you think? What do you think about the strategy? I've broken it up down for you. We are having even an AI podcast if you want to listen to it for around that. But I believe this was the meat of the matter, this aspect around the things, the objectives, and even what is being. You can go check it. With the good thing is with your phone, you can turn your phone to landscape and read all these parts. But yeah, and they even have some KPIs, very important KPIs. Look at them, see what is, because obviously I've seen the the government of the day doesn't want always to look like it is failing on some things. So you can see number of people with deep AI skills, number of schools with foundational AI skills. Can you be able to support those kind of things? Come up with initiatives. Yeah, so let's open it up. Let me stop my share. Let's have a discussion. So I'd like to open it up to all of us. Welcome, Rachel. Rachel was and still is. Just that she came, let me make you co-host. And maybe tell us something. Say hi to us, Rachel, as you also take charge of the discussion.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin, for this opportunity. First, I apologize for joining in late. I had a personal emergency, which I'm going to be discreet with for now. And I've joined in the session, and I would like to say I'm also learning and I'm seeing the strategy, which is actually making a lot of sense, which actually we have to follow as a whole nation and even as the people, and even showing the boundaries and the limits of everything that we should be doing. And even there is much more we can be doing with this AI. I'm learning a lot. So thank you very much, sir. You can proceed.
Thank you. And I agree with you that this strategy kind of scopes out what are the priorities for Kenya. And it also provides opportunities for every stakeholder, whether you are in academia, whether you are in a tech community, whether you are a developer, even for you, you can position your organization to take advantage so you can grow as a leader. It can really help you a lot. And just to now get it open up and get to see, because all of us, each and every one of us who joined this early Saturday morning had some expectations around this. And maybe I can just throw it out there. And I don't know if I have my polls here. I did a poll. I had a poll, and I realized I forgot to launch it. But let's launch it and let me get your ideas. Some of you are hearing to speak. So let's get to see. Before, don't say you read it just because I broke it down for you. Before this session, had you read the strategy? Yes or no? Be honest about it. It kind of paints a picture for us, all that, and also anything. Have you read it? Let's see some of you. The poll is launched. I hope you can see it. And what do you think are the implications of this strategy on AI adoption? Do you think it will accelerate? Do you think it's just another good piece document that is going to be on the shelf? Or do you think that it's going to lay out the blueprint on how Kenya can position itself as an AI leader? I'm not seeing anyone who has participated. I don't know whether you're seeing the poll. You can, I can also share the QR. I don't know whether it's the same. Yeah, so these are, let me just share my screen if you want. You can see the quizzes. Please let's participate. Let's make it interactive as we can see. So this is the this is what I was, this is the QR to that. If you're not seeing it, you can just scan it using your phone if you're not seeing it. But if you can also, you can just move to the poll section of the Zoom platform, and then you can be able to see. So let's do that. Just we have already one person who has done it. We're just waiting for 9 more people. Or yes. So let's participate. Let's get to see, because that will also now inform our discussion. So far, I can see, yes, there's usually this thing that says, if you want to hide anything from Africans, hide it in a book. Or if you want to say something, you just hide it in a strategy document, but you don't want to do that. We want to play a proactive approach. Want to be very proactive when it comes to this. And that is why I said, okay, it doesn't make sense for us to act as if we have not seen anything, and we are an AWS AIML user group. We are an AIML user group. We are the only AIML user group for AWS in Africa. So that means that we have to have our voices known. You are leaders in your own way. You are pioneers in your own way. So I don't know if there is someone answering it, or I'll end the poll. Again, we have to be very vocal. You cannot just be an audience. A strategy document is not one to go and listen to. It's not a class, it's not a lecture, it's not a what. You have to say, now, this is what I think about this. This is what my thoughts are. The way Rachel just put out her thoughts, I mean. So very important for you. I can see, good. I'll give it 1 more minute. And as you do that, I'd like you to also think of it in the context of the AWS IML user group. What do you think should be our priorities this year in light of that strategy? Should it be capacity building? Because I'm seeing, okay, there's things around a skills gap. Should it be job readiness? Can you make people already having some capacity? Can you be able to make them ready for AI jobs or AI trainers? What are the opportunities? Also, the other aspect is when it comes to infrastructure. How can, infrastructure can come in the form of cloud credits, can come in the form of certifications, because, if you're able to validate your skills and show that I didn't really see the need that we have to look for foreign AI talent to bridge immediate skills gaps. I don't think so. Okay, I think we can close it out. I can see 54% of us participated. So let me end the poll, and then I don't know if I can share the results. So let me share your results. So you must be able to see. So out of those who participated, a good number, 83% of us. Let me stop my share. I don't know if I'm still sharing my screen. Am I sharing my screen? Yes. Let's stop my share. Then let me log in so that I can see your results what you said on what do you think are the implications, so that I can read them out and see what you're saying. It's coming up. CV details. Yeah, so let me just let me not share because some people are having their Gmails here, so I don't want to share your private information. So someone says to truly benefit from AI, Kenya needs to improve access to AI education, reduce some of the hardware and software barriers, and create a thriving local AI system. Very true. I think it's there are two things that come into play when I look at this strategy document is data and capacity building or talent development. If we don't have that right, it doesn't make sense. We are like we need to prioritize those ones rather than thinking of coming up with a hardware GPU manufacturing center, and we don't have our own local people who are going to build those chips. They don't even know, let alone building a GPU, knowing about how AI, maybe let alone knowing how physics works and things around coming up with a chip and all these different kind of things. So it's very important, as you mentioned, we need to improve access to education. And then someone else thinks say Katavaki something says it is a nice blueprint on how Kenya is going to position itself in AI. And another one, one of us said, many people have not understood what AI is, and they just use it as a source of information rather than a tool. Seems hard to learn, but very interesting. And I agree with you. People just think Gen AI is all that there is. The GPT, the chat GPTs, the cloud, the Geminis, the Anthropic, and what? Cloud by Anthropic and Perplexity, just mentioned all of them, DeepSeek, Manas, and also not even now the multimodals. I don't know that you saw that this week. OpenAI came up with an amazing image tool, so realistic, and they're making progress on that aspect of multimodal. But most of the time, in terms of usage, it's really all about using it as a, like someone never said, and they loved this, Rachel. Someone said, Gen AI is just a search engine on steroids. Some people are just thinking of it as a search engine. And it's pretty clear where people think the position of AI is a glorified, even said it's a glorified search engine, a very glorified search engine where you just don't have to do all the work of clicking. Yeah, so, but right now, if people are moving to agentic AI agents, autonomous, self-thinking and reasoning, but one day, one time, I ever turned on the reasoning feature, and I gave a certain, I'll not mention the platform, but I gave it something that was erroneous, and I knew it could not do, and I tried to read how it is reasoning. And I felt like it is not even reasoning. It was just going in circles and saying, oh no, the user wants this. Oh, maybe it wants this. What? It was like saying so many things as if it was really confused. That is not the way we reason. We just say, this is the thing, this is how I say it, then I'm going to go with this. We say like, maybe the user wants this. No, maybe the user wants what it just try one day, one time, check on how, just read how it is reasoning in quotes. And someone ever said that the thing about the fallacy about especially Gen AI is most people are not doing fact checking, but they're getting instant gratification that they're getting an answer because there's no one day, one time. I don't know whether you've ever seen any Gen AI platform or chatbot, AI chatbot, that is going to not give you an answer and say, I don't know. Have you ever seen one that says, I don't know? You just go and search maybe on Google. I have no idea about that. It will always generate something, even if it doesn't make sense. So someone else says it lays a blueprint in where we should be, but implementation is where it says it lays a blueprint. Clinton was saying it lays a blueprint, but implementation is where we should be worried about. And that is the truth. Kenya has a history of poor implementation of well-written plans. And that is why we're having this session. And I was thinking it loud that I was thinking the story of Singapore. How did Singapore take the Kenya blueprints, go and implement it, and become a developed country while we are still a developing country. And I was thinking for us, even as a user group, how can we take this blueprint and position ourselves for success, right? Because you already know that this strategy is as a result of looking at many other strategies of other countries, as well as in Europe and on many other places, Australia. If you go and look at how it was developed, it means that if you work out the strategy even at a personal and at a community level, then you can do much more rather than say, now let us wait for the government. Let's see whether they're going to fail or whether they're going to achieve it or something of that sort. So I have no issue around maybe, let's say, not having AWS AIML user group listed on the document. It doesn't make sense. People just love recognition, but the most important thing is implementation. And that is why our tagline is that transforming ideas into impact. And the only way you can transform ideas into impact is through execution, through implementation. Uh-huh. Kinyanjui says it will hasten the AI adoption process. Very true. We already know now after this AI strategy, if you go look at the implementation plan, the next thing is to have an AI policy, have a data policy, have cybersecurity, what things. So before they come, how can you be able to influence such and don't not even have to wait for them? Those kind of issues. I agree with you. So these are very important aspects. Is there anyone who would like to come off their mic? I know Rachel is also here. If you have some questions to to the members or even to myself, can still ask. I'd like to ask because I know Mwad. Mwad is my friend and we've met a number of different times. And I know if I put him on the spot, he's not going to ask for coffee when we meet on Friday. So, Mwad, what do you think about this strategy and how does it impact you as a person, you as Mwad, as well as a member of AWS IML user group, as well as what you do on your day-to-day? What do you think?
Okay, thank you, Kevin, for putting me on the spot. Honestly, from the strategy, what I can see is based on what they have gathered is we are really behind in it. We shouldn't have been what you just mentioned. We shouldn't have been in the introduction stage per se, where we have to introduce AI to people. We have to learn what it means, what AI is. We should have been in the implementation phase. We should have been working on how can we use AI to improve our day-to-day tasks and all that kind of things. But we're still heading in a good direction. Having the discussion is really important, and bringing the community together is really important. Myself, for example, I didn't even think about AI until the AWS user group was created, and then my interest started from there. So let's go one step ahead and actually execute something that we want to do, like in AI field. And yeah, I don't really know. From the strategy, yes, it's something small, but the discussion can go further and we can talk about way more than what we have right now. We just have to amplify, we just have to talk more. Yeah, that's it from my end.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Malim, that you have to talk about these things so that we can gather ideas on how we can implement things. It's very important that we look at what can we do to move away from this introductory phase. The introductory phase is a good place. It is a soft space. It is a comfort zone, if I can say. It is a good place to stay and be in the hype I was asking a friend of mine yesterday, why is it that we have not adopted blockchain to the highest? Why have we not put it in our what? In maybe, let's say, validating certifications or certificates from university. If someone says, like, why do you have to tell me, Kevin, go to NEC, confirm that, go and get a letter from them to prove that you studied here or all those kind of things, then come back and share with us that paper? Or why can't we have like blockchain, and all universities add to that blockchain? When people graduate every year, they add that, and everyone agree, okay, this is the person who added those list of people who graduated. Why do you have to look for a graduation booklet in a PDF somewhere in a, or maybe look for it if there's a physical one? That is a good use case of blockchain. Many things around, maybe other different areas. There are so many areas, and now AI can come into play. But as you can see, one of the fundamental issues that is there is data sharing. For example, let's say if I want to get to know the curriculum of maybe, let's say, computer science for all the universities in Kenya, I have to know the who is who and who holds that data. It is not publicly available. Like, they break down everything. What are the courses? What are the course description? And the reason why people are saying, okay, we don't want to share, is because that if someone else gets to know what we offer, they're going to have a competitive advantage over us and such. But right now, people are not even considering, they're not finding it can I say, they don't find it attractive to go through a 4-year course. They would rather go for a 9-month short course, very focused, very distilled on maybe data science, and then they become a data analyst, and then they start their career within the second year or within that same year when they were learning. By the time the graduate from campus is coming out, that guy has already had 3 years of experience, moved up the ladder maybe 2 or 3 times, and they are now meeting up with someone who is now looking for a job and saying they are not this and those other things. And we can look at how our other institutions are doing. Right now, I love the fact that maybe the university is now going to move from 4 years of learning to 3 years of learning, which is quite good. But then again, in those 3 years, there should be a lot of industry exposure and things around that space. As you said, we need to talk, we need to have these discussions in play. And that thing around, should we have, and maybe I can put it out in the chat as I also share this, the live link of the live link to, what is that? Okay, I don't know why. I thought our Zoom was act when I saw that thing around some emojis, and that is not what should be the thing. But I was asking, I now to put this out there. Should all institutions of learning, whether it's a teacher's college, a TVET, or whatever, have a common course on AI? And I'm talking about the AI that just gives you an idea of what AI, or should it happen at that level, or by the time they get to campus or any other that level, they should have been having some specialized use cases. I believe these CBC, CBE, there are going to be pathways. Should we have specialized AI courses for each pathway? So if it's social science, STEM, what is the other pathway? I don't remember those CBC pathways. What do you think? Who can chime in on that as we get near to the top of the hour? What do you think? And again, as I'll do that, if you don't bring yourself out, I'll put you on the spot. And I don't know, I hope everyone is also in a position to unmute. Celestine, I know Celestine, you're a student, are very enthusiastic on cloud as well as AI. I can see Franco. Franco, you want to say something? I don't know if you're muted for some, or is Franco not? Okay, you're not joined even audio. Celestine, you're in campus, and I believe you are doing your projects and doing all these different kind of things. What do you think about that aspect? Should AI be a
Okay.
common? How should we do AI? Yeah.
Okay, as for me,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Yeah, as for me, I think that AI and ML should be enabled in every education institution at a level which is the same, because this will ensure that all the people have a common understanding of AI. Because you'll find that in universities we have some students doing AI and ML. Some other courses even don't do that unit. Okay, for high school students, they even don't know about it. They even don't know about AI. They just see you get into ChatGPT giving them answers about a given task. So I think that implementing a common unit on AI and ML in all educational institution will be good, and it will make everyone to have a common understanding of AI and ML. Yeah, that is my say about that.
Thank you, thank you. And I agree, there's something that you mentioned that is very interesting. A common one that makes sense, that has the key features, the standard things, so that people know, they just don't put that word out there, AI, and they have different understandings of it. So not just like fragmented, like everyone is creating their own course on AI, and then you see this one is lacking on prompt engineering, this other one is lacking on maybe RAG, this other one is lacking on aspects around agents and what AI agents are, this other one has maybe, I don't know, like just some weird spaghetti kind of curriculums across the board on what. So can the way there's been a task force to come up with a Kenya national AI strategy, can there be a good, well stakeholder task force and say, hey, let us now come up with the way there's usually the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, a curriculum at all levels, at the junior school level, on what AI is all about and what is covered there. That should not even be talked about when you get to campus. At campus, maybe you should not be told, explain to me what AI is, like a 5-year-old. No, you should not be talking about those things at that level. And then you go on and on and on. That's very interesting, and I totally agree with you on that. I don't know whether there's anyone else want to chime in. Thank you, Celestine. So I think, Rachel, we need to definitely have a way forward. We are going to continue this conversation, and I'll also open it up for you to also be sharing the feedback form, so that you can get feedback from all of you as we near to the top of the hour when we should be finishing. And one thing that I'm really passionate about for us in this user group, AWS user group, is implementation. And Rachel can tell you, even in our leadership, we don't overplan. We say you're going to do this next month, we do it. We say you're going to do this, we're going to have this. And just to mention on regarding the what? The capacity building, we are planning an AWS AI/ML workshop. And and just to show that it's very important for you to get to implementation and tell people what you're doing, I have an amazing friend who is she's based off in the US, and she says she wants to plug in and support in terms of capacity building for our user group members on aspects around AI/ML. We met at AWS reInvent last year, and she's very supportive. And once we have that, we're going to make it limited spots. Every time, anything that is important has to have limited spots. So we're going to maybe start with around 20 or 30 people, so that we don't have to have so many people. And then we have it more interactive. Then we put it in cohorts. Yeah. Then, since we are also partnering with ALX next week, I don't know that you knew about this. They have an amazing course that I finished. Let me not call it a course, but a short kind of a thing. It's called, let me just share my screen. It's called the ALX AI Starter Kit. I don't know whether some of you have done it. So it's a 4-week program. Over 20 days. 20 days, you start a smarter, more productive life with AI. 4 weeks, 7 hours. And the beauty about it is free. It is free. And over 20 days, you get to, it's not self-paced, just note this, it's not self-paced. And it is used, you get to do many different projects. I was even able to supercharge my note taking using Obsidian. Obsidian, I didn't know you can put in a Gen AI and it can help you doing some note taking. I was able to do some agent. I created an AI agent. Look at this. This is what I did from my AI Alexa AI starter kit. Let me just show you something here. So do you see I'm having a chat using Grok? Can hear here. Let me see. I can, like, this is a new version. Let's say I'm having these my notes, like my notes from that course. So let's say if I ask it, what you can even ask it so different things. Give me a recap. Give me a quick recap in 2 sentences. So let's see. Give me a quick recap. Give me a quick recap of. Let me see if I can open that up of LX of active node. If it's going to remember, or it's going to check that. But you can even use it to do autocomplete for you. You can see I've even enabled it. Then I can say AI is, I don't know, I think my tokens are very high. Oh, these nodes has a very high. You can see these are, I'm having, so you can see I've just said AI is, and using the AI is capable of processing vast amounts in a matter of seconds, but the effectiveness of resources relies heavily. I can say, wow, that's a good auto completion. Let's finish that. And it has written for me notes. A well-crafted prompt is already writing. I'm writing notes using it. You can see it's just giving me auto completion and I'm writing notes. Moreover, the ability to tailor prompts, I just look at it and I continue writing notes using AI, using that. I was able to learn about these using Obsidian and Grok and such in one of the projects. So sign up for it. It has an application deadline of 16th April. I think it starts on the 21st of April. And it's a very interesting thing. You get to do actionable stuff. I was also able to build an AI agent using Lindy. Was it Lindy? Yes. Lindy here to enable me to just automatically apply for a job. It was very interesting. Please take advantage of these opportunities as they come. We're going to talk more about them. And the beauty about it, you also get a certificate at the end of it all. So I don't remember. Yes, you can do a lot of things with Lindy and many other tools that they share. Every day you do a project. Every day you're having 20 projects over 20 days. Light touch, just do something and get to know the different kinds of AI models. I was even able to create a photorealistic image. I don't know that I shared it in our leadership group. Let me see. Let me just show you this. How AI has evolved, there's number of tools that are out there can be overwhelming. So what that means is it means that you need to be a bit structured. And when you're structured, you can gain a lot out of this. Let me see if I can show you that. Where did I put it? Where is it in my let me see. I know where I'll get it. Here. Here it is. So I shared it in our leadership group. Look at that. Look at that photo. Will you even believe that that's not a real person generated? I created it using file.ai. I was sharing this file.ai and just say it. You just get it an input. Like let's say a group photo of members of AWS AI/ML user group. AI/ML user group after a fantastic community meetup at the LX hub, the LX hub in Nairobi. That additional settings, you can come here. So I can have to sign in to run. So let me just copy that prompt in case I lose it. You can see I can look at the, do I want it to be landscape? Do I want to number of images? Enable safety checker, what. Let me see if I can log in, sign in to run. Can continue with GitHub. I don't know whether I continued with GitHub. Yes, I think I continued with GitHub. So I knew I'd lose the prompt, so I paste it. Then this is just a playground. Let me see if it's going to be photorealistic. Number of inference steps. I think I can reduce the number of inference steps. 1024 by 768. Let's see what's going to come up out of here. And they have image to image. I don't know that it costed me. I don't know, I think these are the dollars. I don't know that these are credits that I do have. So look at those, looks like very real people. I don't know why it came up with only men, so many men and one lady. But you can see this is just an interesting thing. These are an idea of how they think about things, and you can download it and you can put it up and you can add it in a poster or those kind of things. I don't know why these guys the only one with a badge and others don't have a badge. But yeah, those kind of things, but very interesting things, right? So check them out, register, sign up. It's very easy to join in and you get to do a lot of different things with AI. Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, exactly. Copilot also amazing stuff. Just try to make sure you make you make AI part and parcel of what Copilot can do amazing stuff. You also have Amazon Q here. You can just come here and get to do that, like come up with a project. So I can come here and do /dev. Then I say generate Python tic-tac-toe game running on, yeah, is it something like that. Open a workspace. Oh, I need so I need to open a workspace. I don't think I opened a workspace file. New folder. Add folder to workspace. Let me go to AWS. Yeah, I'm in the group and I create a folder. Q game. Just add that. Then I think it's coming up. Let's create a game in 2 minutes before we close. So let's see. I think it's coming up. So you really don't have to do crazy stuff. So /dev. Then I just put whatever I said. So it's coming up with the code. If I come back here, I think it's coming up with the code. Yeah, usually takes a bit of time, but I don't think it should be too much. But after that, you can now confirm it. You can be able to do anything. You can continue asking chat. The chat is, I usually see people ask, how can I get started learning AI/ML? It's coming up with the code. I think I've just accessed it. So you can see you always have some policy. This is a responsible AI policy, very important for ethics and issues, what. You might need to verify responses, just making sure. So you can see I'm getting even other ideas on how you can do Python, understanding cloud statistics and math, foundational learning, what. Interesting. Then I can show more. I can see where I can be able to look at what it came up with. I think this is going to take a bit of time than I expected, but yeah, I'll definitely get a game out of this maybe at the end of it all. So I can see it has created tic-tac-toe.py. So I should go back here and see, should I find it here? It's coming up with it. It's still coming up with it. Don't think it's created it, so it's not yet shown it here. So you can see it is already saying what it is doing, the changes. I think it's going to even come up with documentation. Once I finish this, I'll share it on the GitHub repo. I don't want us to take more time than because you're already at the top of the hour. So I'll ask. Oh yeah, it has. Oh, it has. Let me just show you. It has finished. It has understood it is time. So let me just show you this. So you can see. Would you like to add this project or provide? Then I'll say accept all changes. And then let me see if the code is here. Here it is. Let me try to run it, but I can review this how it looks like. Very interesting. Maybe it's just a grid. Let me run it, the Python. Run Python file in terminal. So here is the tic-tac-toe game. So if I do this, I think I'm surviving. I don't know what. I've not gotten it. So who was I? Who was I? Anyway, can reset the game. So I was X, right? How tic-tac-toe works. So should I get that? Oh no, he's getting it. He won. So that you can see I'm just enjoying. I've just gotten a game to enjoy. Hopefully I'm going to get this one. They don't want me to win. Now which one is the other one? I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Oh my. Oh, it's a draw. Just when I was about to win, anyways, that's how it is. So I'm done with that, and that is just how you can be able to do a lot with AI these days. Can you imagine what could have taken me to just come up with such a game? And what else? We have to get the feedback. So me share. I think Rachel, can you share the screen on feedback? I don't know if you have it, or if you don't have it, you can get your feedback so that we can wrap it up in a good way. I hope you got the notebook LM. And if you haven't, you can just also create yours. So, Rachel, are you able to share? Oh, awesome, awesome. So let's please give us feedback. Feedback helps us a lot. Feedback helps us a lot when it comes to what? When it comes to making these sessions better. Also really respect your time. That is why we make sure we end on time and also get feedback from you. So thank you so much for joining our session. We really appreciate your time on an early Saturday morning. We want to be having more of these discussions and not more initiatives. So I will also end the stream at that point. Let me see if I can end the stream there. So please give us feedback. We'll be happy to get your feedback. Very important.